Hey everyone, this is Perl DJ and welcome to this getting started guide for Dancer2. In this video we're going to create a Dancer2 application. It's going to be called Image Viewer and we're going to use it to view images in a directory. We're going to create little thumbnails of larger images. This could be used for a security system. I've got a Raspberry Pi and it creates a lot of images in a directory, and I want to create thumbnails out of them, be able to reference them and view them on a page, and so I can see them, all the little files, and not have to go through large images all the time. And this is what this application is going to allow us to do. The first thing we're going to have a look at is the perldancer.org website. This website will give you basically information about Perl Dancer, and you can see what the key features are. You can have a look at some quick start guides, etc. And that's the perldancer.org website. So the first thing we need to do is create a server for our Perl Dancer application, and this is a really quick process. It will basically involve creating a droplet on DigitalOcean, and that a droplet is essentially a server, and then we can log into the server and install Dancer2. So we're going to call the droplet or the server Dancer2. If you like, you can get $10 credit with DigitalOcean by clicking on the link on the bottom right hand side of your screen, and that will give us 2 months of server usage for free, and that's a really good way to get started with DigitalOcean. It will also be in the description, that link for you, and that's a way to get to $10 of credit with DigitalOcean. We're going to click on the $5 per month option on the Create Droplet page and scroll down. We'll go with Singapore as a region. That's the closest to me, so I get the lowest latency at Singapore. All the rest of them we'll just leave as is. We're going to go with the Ubuntu server, and we can just click Create Droplet. That makes it really simple. And DigitalOcean, as you might have seen up there, they use SSD disks and they're super fast. They've got their own Ubuntu repository, so we can install applications quite speedily. Within 5 minutes, we're going to have our Dancer2 application up and running. So DigitalOcean have sent me a username and password to log in with. I'm going to open Putty and use Putty for this because Putty is an excellent little utility to use to log into servers with. The first video, we're just going to use the Putty to edit everything. The second video, we're going to look at an integrated development environment, which is a way that we can edit our web application with greater ease than having to go into individual files and edit them. And so our server's been created. We're going to log in. That looks like it's all up and running. Login is the root user, and when we log in, we're going to change our password. So it's going to ask us for our existing password, current Unix password, and a new password we'll type in there. So that's it. That's our server created. And now we can install Dancer2 by typing in apt-get install and then libdancer2-perl, and it's asking us for a lot of dependencies. In its function, Dancer2 is similar to something like Catalyst, if you've ever used Catalyst with Perl. Catalyst has probably 500 CPAN dependencies, I think. Perl Dancer has approximately 200, and this is a really quick installation on our Ubuntu server. It takes only a few seconds to install all the dependencies and get our web application framework up and running. So when we install this, we're going to install pure FTPD. So once we get back to the prompt, we're going to type in apt-get space install space pure-ftpd, and pure FTPD we're going to use in the second video to do some stuff, and it's going to be very handy for us. So we've installed Dancer2, that's all done. We've installed pure FTPD. Now we're going to add a user called image viewer. So we'll do add user image viewer, put in a password, and we're going to just select the default options there when we add the user and say yes, this information is correct. So we've installed our image viewer user. We're going to SU to image viewer. Excellent. So we're now on the image viewer user. This is just for security. We've created another user here and creating a Dancer application. We're going to call it image viewer as well. And that's a really easy command, which is user bin Dancer2 gen-a image viewer. We're just going to be all lowercase like our user here, just to make it easier. So you can see here all of the files that have been created for our Skeleton Dancer2 application. We've got their config.yml up the top. You can see under there's a views directory which has our index.tt. It's got a layout file of main.tt. The layout file contains a header and a footer for the index.tt and all other files. By default, our layout file is main or main.tt. So the config.yml file as well will contain things like we can enable sessions there, which we're going to do. We can enable template toolkit. Also, we're going to enable template toolkit, and I think that's about it at this stage. So under there, we've got the imageviewer.pm file. You always have a .pm file the same name as your application. So that will contain all of the code that we need to do things, and will contain the code for all the routes that we're going to use. And basically, it is the controller and the model side of this model view controller type application. So the model and the controller we put into imageviewer.pm. The view side of it will go into that index.tt and main.tt. So under there we've got app.pl, which is what we use to run the development environment, which Dancer2 comes with its own inbuilt web server development environment, which is awesome. We can just run it straight away. Under there's other various files, like we've got our JavaScript file that comes in built with jQuery enabled, and we've got the some CSS files there as well. So the first thing we're going to do is to cd to our image viewer application directory, and then we're going to start app.pl to see what our application looks like. So I'll do .bin/app.pl, and then we'll start our application on port 3000. So there we go. There's our Dancer application up and running. Now let's see what that looks like when we go to our IP address, port 3000. If you're using Amazon Web Services for this, remember to allow port 3000 through as well, because this won't work just straight away on Amazon Web Services. Remember to enable your security settings to allow port 3000. So there we go. Perl is dancing, and that is the start of our Dancer2 application. We can see some variables already on here. So under location, we can see that it's got the location of our web application. And we've got the template engine there, simple, and it's logging to the console. So already we can see that there's some stuff in the files there, and we've got, obviously this is produced from the index.tt and the main.tt or layout file that we've got. Little trick I like to do in the console, if you want to keep this running, this application, but still get back to the console, we can hold down Control, press Z, and then type in BG, press enter, and that will send app.pl into the background. We can continue editing files. So if we look at the config.yml file first, let's go down. Sorry for the blue writing, that won't last long. Let's go down, let's disable template simple, and let's enable template toolkit. First thing, well, the thing to know about this is always leave these on the same indentation level, because if template and engines are not on the same indentation level, you will have problems. So we'll enable those tags. That's what Dancer uses as a tags, the greater than, less than. And while we're in here, let's enable simple sessions. So we're going to type in session:simple, and that will enable simple sessions. Sessions are great. Sessions allow you to pass information between web pages for a person who is using your website. And so let's say if somebody logs in, they have a name that they are in the database. Let's say my name's David in the database. I can I can put on every page, I can say, welcome David to such and such a website. And I can use the sessions to pass that information. So I don't have to use a get or a post every single page to post or get that information over to the pages. I can use sessions to do that, and it's a really convenient way to pass that information in a web application. Now that we've modified config.yml, we need to restart the application. To do that, we can do type in FG, press enter. That brings app.pl into the foreground, and then we'll just kill that with Control-C. Let's rerun app.pl, and we can see, what we'll see is this template engine here, simple, will change to the template toolkit engine. So we'll hold down shift, reload the page, and we can see their template toolkit is the template engine, and that's because we've changed it in the config.yml file. So that's a really easy way to edit that information. We'll go back to our SSH session, and we're going to have a look at I think we'll look at the PM file now. So we'll go into lib directory. We'll list the lib directory with ls, and we can see their image viewer.pm. And I like to use vi. If you like to use e or pico, that's fine. Your editor of choice is okay with me, so that's excellent. We can vi into image viewer. We can see it's a basic small file. All these files, apart from index.tt, which contains all the information you can see on the Perl is dancing page there, these are very small files with not much in them, which it really helps to get started because it doesn't start very complicated. So you can see there, there's a get for the / route, and that's a route. Basically, that / is a route, which means it's where people are going to go to in the browser. And we'll create another route in a second to see what that looks like. The template is index template. That implies a .tt after it, so that when it says template index, it actually means index.tt. And so let's create another route. We'll use that same syntax get, and we'll just call it image viewer, just to be simple and just to show us what this is going to look like initially. We'll put in get and then / image viewer equals greater than sub. We'll put in a bracket, then we'll type in template, and we use the same template. I like to use the same template as the page name. Actually, know what we'll do? We will call that image viewer, and we'll just copy the template file. So remember to put the semicolon at the end there when you finish off that route. So now we've created a route. What we'll do is we'll make the error, because I want to show you what happens when a template doesn't exist. So we'll go FG, Control-C, restart the application. Let's go back a directory to do that, and we'll go ./bin app.pl. So we've restarted. Go to this page. That's great. It loads. Now we'll go / image viewer. It will work. Kind of. We get an internal server error. So if you have a look at that, it says imageviewer.tt. You notice I said TT is implied, is not a regular file of reference. Easy fixed. We'll go Control-Z-BG. We'll go into our views directory. We'll do an ls. We've got an index.tt. We've got no imageviewer.tt. So let's just copy index to image viewer. Now, because it's a TT file, usually you don't have to reload the application. So let's just do an F5 here to reload the page. And we should get that same Perl is dancing page that we got previously. And that should just come up. It should find that index, that imageviewer.tt file, and everything should be happy. So it's just taking a while to load. All right, there we go. So that's loaded the imageviewer.tt file, and it's all happy. It's found it. So we'll clear out that imageviewer.tt file. And when I do this, remember what I said about main.tt. It contains the header and the footer. So let's see what it looks like when I clear out this template file. We won't need to load the application, reload the application because it's a .tt file. Let's just delete everything from the file. We'll save it. So now image viewer, we'll do a cat on image viewer, and it's just empty. All right, what's going to happen to our application now? We've emptied the file and it really just contains the header and the footer. I think we're going to get a background only, and we're going to get powered by Dancer at the bottom. There we go. We've got powered by Dancer and a background, and that's it. So that's what happens when we have a blank .tt file. We can start populating with things. Now, if you want to change the header and the footer, you can easily do that by going into that layouts directory and into main.tt. If you ever wanted to change, we won't do it in this video, but if you ever wanted to change that layout file for some files for some routes, you wanted to have a different header and footer, which I've done before because I want to change the CSS file and I don't want to conflict. You can add that in at the end of the route. There is an option to change the layout file, so have a different header and footer based on the route that somebody goes to. So that's a really handy thing to know. And we'll have a look now in config.yml, and we'll see what it looks like if we have a look and see where the layout is. Actually configure the default layout, because this is useful to know so that you know where that's coming from. Otherwise, you don't know why it's using main. But you can see here it says layout : main is, or main.tt is implied. That's where your header and footer come from. We won't get rid of that because I don't want to keep making the application error out. But if we were to change main to something else, then it would use the other thing as the header and footer. And so we'll do a quick check and see what's in main.tt to see what our header and our footer contains. So that will be in the views layouts, and we'll go into main.tt there under the views layouts directory. And so you can see here there's just a standard header as a HTML header, and then there's the content, which is where the content gets displayed from our Dancer application. Under that, we've got the div ID footer and the powered by Dancer there. So if you wanted to, for instance, remove the powered by Dancer, we can do the standard comment of HTML, which is the less than exclamation mark hyphen hyphen space, and then at the end of the line or at the end of the section you want to comment out a hyphen hyphen greater than. It's a really handy commenting tool because you comment out a whole block of HTML code and you don't have to do it line by line. So we'll save that file. Let's reload image viewer, and there's no footer. Beautiful. Now, if that's a layout, if that's a template file for a layout file which contains a header and footer for all pages, then when we go to the root route, I'll call it, we should have no footer, and there we go. There's no footer there either. You can see down the bottom the footer is missing. So let's reverse that and put that back in. This is one of the things that you have if you're editing files and you've got an application in the background, it will just fill the screen. So let's go back into main.tt. Whoops, wasn't meant to do that. All right, so we'll uncomment that. We'll get rid of the comment and reload the page, and we should be able to. It's a .tt file. We don't need to reload app.pl, and we should see that footer come back again at the bottom of the screen when that reloads the page. So there we go. That footer is back there. So that's been an introduction to Dancer2, just the getting started there. As I said, to get that $10 off DigitalOcean, feel free to click on the right-hand side, bottom right-hand side of the screen there. These videos will be available on dj.id.au as high-definition DRM-free videos. You can download them for free and watch them at your leisure. And so thanks for watching this video, and this is Perl DJ signing out.